Hello everyone, and welcome to Settlers of Catan in Minecraft. For those who don't know, Catan is a board game where players must gain resources in order to build structures such as roads and settlements. Each structure is worth a certain amount of points, and the first player to 10 victory points wins. Now, I'm not going to go over the entire rule set of the board game, but I will be explaining how to do everything in this Minecraft iteration I've made, so even if you aren't familiar with Catan, you'll probably understand by the end of this showcase. And like all of my other Minecraft showcases, there will be a world download in the description. And if for some reason that download doesn't work, feel free to join the Discord and ask me about it there. Just like my Sorry minigame, almost everything to control the game resides in a written book. There are trigger commands as well for those who prefer to use them, but the book is usually quicker and simpler. All players will get this book when the game starts, but there are also books in the center chest if needed. Included in the book is written instructions of what I will be explaining in this video as well, so you can always go back to it and refresh your memory if you need. There's an index on the third page that lets you skip to the section you want to look at for quicker access. So before you start the game, there are two settings to note. The first option being the size of the board, and the second being the simple tiles option. In order to change these options, you just click on the book, and then the sidebar settings will update on your screen. The classic size of the Catan board is meant for up to 4 players. However, I also have the larger expansion board that can be up to 6 players. The next option to check out is the simple tiles setting. With this, the tiles change from a pixel art style to a flat resource. Because the tiles are small pixel art, some people might find the board a bit too complex, and so you can turn this setting on if you'd like. The pixel art is small because part of the gameplay requires you to physically walk on the board. Therefore, the tiles aren't massive, so it doesn't take too long to get from one tile to another. Personally, I don't think the pixel art styled board is too hard to interpret, but even if it is, it doesn't take too long to understand it either. But the simple tile setting will always be there for those who want it. Anyway, with those two options out of the way, it's time to start the game. In order to start, you can either click here in the book or type /trigger start game. Much like in regular Catan, this will randomize the tiles and numbers of the board, and will place the trading ports. You will also gain the resources to place your 2 starting settlements. If you want to randomize the board again, just click start game one more time. From the start of the game, every 30 minutes there will be a half-hour mark announced in chat, so you can keep track of the time easily. Your XP bar will also show how many minutes have passed since starting. Once the game is started, players will glow with their team's color, so you can quickly identify a player to trade with. Now there is a turn order in this game, but there isn't a set way to decide it. Usually it's clockwise around a table, but because it's Minecraft, you're not playing around a table. So players can either roll the dice, or use the order in a voice chat, or even go by color. It's up to you how you want to decide this. There is also an optional end turn button that simply lets players know that you have finished your turn. In order to place settlements, you need to physically walk on the board. In order to go up or down the board, you click up or down, or step on a sea lantern. The pressure plates are spots where you can build settlements and upgrade them to cities, and the buttons are spots in which roads can be built. All structures are indicated by concrete powder, with the color depending on the player. Settlements stand higher above the board for easier viewing, and cities are taller and capped with an end rod for differentiation. In simple tiles mode, the roads are carpets instead of concrete powder. There is a map in your inventory that provides what resources each structure requires. The game will not allow you to place a structure if you do not have the correct meanings to. For example, if you do not have the minimum required resources in your inventory, if a settlement is within 1 road's distance of that spot, or if you have no more of that structure left. Standard Catan rules provide players with 5 settlements, 4 cities, and 15 roads. You can see remaining structures on the action bar HUD above the hotbar. If your settlement is upgraded to a city, you regain 1 settlement to place down. If a player makes a mistake and places an accidental settlement or city, there are functions to undo these actions. To fix this, stand 1 block next to the structure in any direction and press either remove city or remove settlement. You will gain the resources back and it will correct your scores. Players roll the dice by clicking the roll dice button in the book. There is also a button under the dice if you wish to use that instead. Each dice is randomly rolled separately, and the 2 dice get added up at the end. The dice will roll a minimum of 2 times and at most 10 times. When the dice finish rolling, the number will be said in chat along with who rolled, and beams will appear above the number on the board to easily find what tiles the number is linked to. Players can click Deal Resources to automatically give the players the resources their structures are placed on. This button will not work again until the dice have been rolled once more. Other ways to gain resources are by clicking on that resource in the book, or by pressing the buttons at the back side of the board. When a player gains a resource, it will be announced in the chat. The total number of resources that all players have will be shown on the sidebar once the game is started, and victory points will be shown in the player list. In some cases, players will be required to discard resources, such as when a 7 is rolled and players have 8 or more resources, or when trading in resources for the ports. A notification will pop up on the player's screen to let them know. In order to discard resources, players must put those resources within the glass box in their inventory, and move the paper down one slot. This will delete the items and reset the paper. Next, we've got the development cards, which can be obtained by trading in certain resources. These cards give the player the potential for different things, such as 2 free roads, stealing all of 1 resource from every player, or even a victory point to get you closer to that 10 points. In order to make these cards, you walk over to the section on the left, and it will give you a random card in exchange for the resources. To use these cards, you open them and click on the action provided. Much like structures, there is a limited amount of each type of dev card per game. The amount of unused dev cards in a player's hand will be shown under their name. When a 7 is rolled or a knight card is played, players have the ability to move the bandit. To do this, stand any height above the tile you wish to move it to, and click the action on the book. When the bandit is on a tile, that tile will not give out a resource until it is moved off of it. When a bandit is placed on another player's tile, you can steal 1 random resource from that player. In order to steal a resource, you once again use the book, and on the second page, lets you choose 1 of the players to rob. Longest road and largest army are 2 rewards given to players with certain criteria. The player with the most roads, minimum of 5, and the most knights, minimum of 3, can gain these prizes. The player must pick up both of the item in the chest to get the reward of 2 victory points. If another player builds a longer road or has more knight cards used, they must also pass off the reward items to that player. Once a player reaches 10 victory points, the game will end and will announce the winner. It will also show the stats for the total amount of dice rolls, as well as how many times each number was rolled. It will also show the amount of dev cards bought in total and by each player. And that's everything for my take on Catan and Minecraft. I know there are some different versions of Minecraft Catan out there, all of them unique in their own ways, so I'll have in the description some FAQ of why I made some design choices of mine, how I did, if you're interested. Other than that though, thanks for watching. Again, there's a world download in the description for you and your friends to play it yourselves, and if you have more questions or issues, join the Discord, or let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching!